Good morning, everyone. This is Gary Kay, and you are watching a special edition of my Rants and rAVes podcast. I am joined today by two special people leading up to InfoComm, which is about 2 months away. Rachel Bradshaw, who's the Director of Exposition Content for InfoComm, and Jason McGraw, who's the Senior VP of Expositions for InfoComm. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Gary.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, thank you for joining me. All eyes and ears are going to be on InfoComm in just a couple of them, actually, as we lead up to InfoComm, because we've got a bunch of really cool things going on. 4K technology has come to fruition. AV over IP is big. Audio over IP is standardized now. Resolution has gotten much higher. Brightness has gotten much higher. The economy is doing well. And all the while, we're going to talk today about not technology. We're going to talk about some of the events, but one specific brand new thing that I wanted everyone to know about is TIDE. So, Rachel, will you kick us off and talk about TIDE?
Yes, I will, and I have so much to say about this conference, so just tell me to slow down, calm down if you need to, but we're doing a lot of things new and different at the show this year, and this is the newest, most different thing we're doing. It's unlike anything that we've ever done at InfoComm before, and I don't want to imply that there's anything wrong with what we've been doing before. Our technical training...
Especially with your boss sitting there.
Right.
All good.
Jason knows that technical training, those trends briefings, they're really important and valuable to thousands of people who attend them every year. But we also have many more thousands of people who come to the show and don't attend any of that stuff because either they've progressed beyond it in their careers, or they don't deal directly with gear anymore, or maybe they're like a high-level end user who's never had much interest in the specific functions or capabilities of an individual box. So we identified that there was a place at the show for a strategic thought leadership conference, something that would be, as you say, about technology, but not technical per se, more visionary in nature. It would look critically at the AV industry's identity and maybe even someday play a role in shaping it, and that it would examine the forces from the larger universe that are pulling on the AV industry, hopefully towards change and towards growth. And that's where we got TIDE, which stands for Technology, Innovation, Design, and Experience. This is a brand new one-day conference. It's going to take place Tuesday before the show floor opens at the Hyatt Regency. And the purpose of TIDE is to examine the impact of AV on enterprise outcomes.
Hey, Jason, what kind of sparked this idea? Did this come through the surveys that you guys do? Because I know you do really comprehensive surveys, follow up with the attendees. Did it come from a brilliant idea that Dave Labuscas had? Did you walk in the office and say, hey, I've got this idea? Did you have manufacturers saying we feel like we're not reaching the right people? What kind of brought this along? Where'd the impetus for the idea come?
So, Gary, over the last 18 months, InfoComm had been working on preparations for a new strategic plan, which was ratified by our board last year. And part of that talks about, or really kind of gives us a new mission, or one of the new missions of InfoComm is really to try and change the conversation in the industry towards outcomes and solutions for the end user. And that goes beyond, as Rachel was saying, it's not just the technology, it's what you're doing with it. What's the story you're trying to convey? What kind of impressions you're trying to make on the attendees or the users or viewers of your audiovisual system? And so we felt that was kind of a missing element at the show. And this year we've tried to, not only with the TIDE program, but with sessions in our seminar workshop package and on our center stage show floor special event, really kind of add that element into the conversation at this year's show. We got 1,000 exhibitors with fantastic technology and services, but we want to add a layer onto that element where really you're looking at things more holistically and really building towards how do we deliver exceptional experiences.
So first of all, I guess we should say that, of course, you can go to InfoComm.org to find all this information, but you have a special location for the TIDE, right? Where's the best place to start for that, Rachel?
InfoCommShow.org/TIDE.
Okay, InfoCommShow.org/TIDE, TIDE, in case anyone wasn't sure how to spell that. Now, Rachel, so it's going to be at an off-site location, which is good because then you're not sort of in the hustle of preparations for InfoComm. What kind of people are you hoping to get to attend this? Sort of what is the target audience, and what kind of things can we expect to hear? Like, in other words, the speaker-wise, what can we expect? So I know that's three separate questions, but can you address those?
I can, and oh man. So TIDE, who we're looking to attract with this are people at a very high level, AV service provider executives, design professionals, end user decision makers, the people whose creativity and needs are going to shape the future of the industry. And in order to serve those people, we've created a day that will address issues that are important to those groups broadly, but that also have breakouts where they can explore things that are very important to them specifically. So we're going to have keynote speakers, plenary talks, panels, but also breakout sessions that are targeted at each audience group. And if that sounds like a lot, it is. It's going to be a very fast-paced day. Most of the plenary talks are no more than 20 minutes. This conference is really going to move. The first 100 delegates are also going to receive exclusive small group show floor tours that will be customized for them by Storytech, which is also the official show floor tour vendor to NAB and CES, that will help these people who, in large part, may come from outside the AV industry, put the show floor in the context of their businesses and how this technology can be transformative for them. These tours are going to be limited to 15 people, so it's going to be like a walking brainstorming session of how you can use this stuff. But back to the conference itself, the theme for this year is the role of AV in storytelling. So there are kind of two lenses on that. The first is how storytelling is being used to deliver enterprise outcomes, why storytelling is important to businesses and institutes of higher learning and stores. And then the other side of that is the critical role that AV particularly plays in both the creative process and the delivery of that story. So in the morning, we're going to be focusing on that first part, the art of the story, why it's important to businesses, how to make your story compelling and authentic, and how to use storytelling to achieve business outcomes. And then the afternoon is going to focus more on the science of delivering a story and how AV plays into that. So we're going to be looking at some really hard research on what makes a story actionable and compelling and how technology contributes to that. We're going to explore how immersive and collaborative stories are turning passive audiences into engaged co-authors, people who are really participating in the story and therefore value it more. And we're also going to peel back the curtain on how designers, end users, and AV service providers must collaborate to achieve these really transformative results. So that's what we're talking about. The other thing you asked me was who's going to talk about it, and we have the most exciting group of people. In the morning, our keynote is going to be delivered by Matthew Lunn, who is the former chief storyteller for Pixar and who's worked with a number of Fortune 500 companies to help them shape their brand story. So he's going to deliver our kickoff keynote on the impact of storytelling on business. Then we're going to have a series of plenary and breakout sessions on that topic, which are going to include a talk by Jake Barton of Local Projects, who is a National Design Award winner and the creator of the interactive exhibits at the 9/11 Memorial and StoryCorps, among many other institutes. He's going to be talking about the intersection of space and story, which are sort of two legs of the exceptional experience triangle. We're going to have Barry Ross Reinhardt of MIG. He's a creative director whose clients have included the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Disney, Ford, Nintendo, Pfizer, the World Health Organization. He's going to be talking about narrative neuroscience and what scientifically makes a story really stick. We're going to have a plenary panel that's focused on how stories are used in business, which is going to feature Jens Oliver Meyer of Jack Morton Worldwide and Eric Grossman of Tate Towers. And collectively, they've done things for BMW, Intel, IKEA, Beyonce, Snapchat, the Olympics. So they have a lot of different kinds of stories to tell. And we're also going to have breakouts on crafting the story of your business, how spaces tell stories, and reimagining the story of the AV industry. So that's our morning. You want me to stop there, or we're ready to go to the afternoon?
This, I don't want you to give away everything. I mean, you want them to go to the website too. But what's interesting about this is, this is great. This is because timing-wise, this couldn't be better. Because if you take a look at what's happened in the industry over the last 4 or 5 years, you see the manufacturers who've exhibited have moved from showing products to showing experiences to showing applications with those experiences. And I think this lends itself really well to that. So I think one of the cool things is I could see this 5 years down the road where there's a lot more collaboration between the manufacturers and their technology and the storytellers and their technology actually working better. And I think that this could actually kick off sort of a lot more synergy between those organizations rather than one reacting to the other, because I feel like that's sort of what we're doing now, where Pixar probably doesn't have a dialogue with a lot of the manufacturers' products they're using, and the manufacturers would like to have that dialogue with Pixar to build better products for Pixar, for example, just using your keynote speaker as an example. So Jason, was that part of the process? I mean, the manufacturers, you've walked the show floor and you focus on this carefully. You've noticed this trend, right, where the manufacturers have moved from just showing products with signage about their products to showing experiences.
Absolutely, and we did get the last couple of years a number of major manufacturers approach us and say, hey, we're moving in this direction as well. How can the association support this trend in the industry? And that's our role, kind of as the marketing and advertising agency for rAVe globally. How do we get out there and help to tell this narrative and connect, to the customers in the industry and say, you know what, AV is more about, the boxes. It's about, the experiences and the outcomes. And we really help to drive that, and do what we can through, our forums and our online training. And you'll see this come out throughout many forms of our content delivery in the months ahead. And this focal point of the show is just really a great forum and platform for us to raise this dialogue with the industry. And really kind of show that it's more than ones and zeros. It's more than boxes. It's the sum of the parts delivering the outcomes that the customers are trying to achieve. And we have a lot of power in this industry to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that in the afternoon of TIDE, you will see people who are sort of on the forefront of those kinds of collaborative partnerships that we want to move the whole industry toward. We'll have Jason Cruzen, who's Director of Advanced Exploration Systems for NASA, talking about how they're partnering with immersive technology providers to capture the public's imagination and interest in a mission to Mars. We'll have the sound designer for Hamilton talk about how he was involved with the creative process from that show, building it from the ground up. And our hope is, exactly as you suggest, Gary, to empower people to initiate those kinds of conversations with their customers and partners so that they can create better, more effective, more transformative experiences with their client by being involved from the ground up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a phenomenal event. I'm excited that this is happening because having lived in this industry for over 20 years, there's been sort of lulls, and I think this prevents a lull where we focus so much on technology that we're not focusing on what the technology is providing as an experience. And I think this sort of will get people to look outside of that, because we do have a lot of people that have been in this industry who do focus exclusively on the technology, and that's the lead. And really, this provides a different lead for the whole thing. I think this is I'm excited about it. When I read about it, I immediately contacted you guys about doing this webcast, this video cast, because I wanted to get the word out there, not just inside of the industry, but to also all the end customers out there that are actually creating these experiences. Because even a classroom is no longer about the technology. We're trying to make that classroom look like it doesn't have any technology and work seamlessly, because it makes it easier and less intrusive for people to participate. And I think this is that first step. I mean, we've got a long way to go, but I think, I'll tell you, Rachel, your passion for this is clear. It comes through. JC, you picked the right person to head this up. I think this is going to naturally be successful because, like me, you have a lot of energy, Rachel. But you're a lot younger, and you'll be able to channel that energy a lot more effectively than those of us who've been in the industry a long time and have been through all the technological challenges of this. So I commend you for the planning of this and also the work, and I'm excited to hear about it myself and participate in it myself. InfoCommShow.org/TIDE, if if I remember that correctly. That's where you can find out all the information. You can register there, and you need to do this ahead of time because this is going to fill up. This is not something you're going to have 10,000 spots for, and anybody can come in and join in. You're going to have to do it because I don't know what the number of spots you have are. Maybe you can enlighten us a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to be one of those things where there's a limited number of participants that are even available to attend.
That's entirely true. We're going to be pretty much at capacity in our current event space at a mere 250 people, and you really want to sign up early so that you get the opportunity to do the show floor tour, because I think that's going to be a really helpful experience, particularly if you're from the creative world or the end user world, to talk with the experts from StoryTech who will have technology analysts there to help you frame the show floor and make your time at the show as useful as it could possibly be. As a side note, TIDE participants will also get access to an exclusive hotel room block at our headquarters hotel, the Hyatt Regency. So if that's something that really moves you, note that that's just one other reason to sign up early, because that hotel will sell out. And there will also be exclusive networking opportunities for the TIDE delegates. I mean, we're really trying to create a community of people who are going to be really forward-thinking, both inside and outside of our industry, but about what our industry can achieve.
So InfoCommShow.org/TIDE, TIDE. Jason, Rachel, thanks for joining me today. I wish you best of luck. We're going to report on this a lot more. And, of course, I'm excited to hear the outcomes. I mean, the reviews and I'm certainly excited to see where this goes even next year.
You and me both, Gary.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very exciting. It's going to change our industry, I think, in a lot of ways. I think people don't realize the impact this is ultimately going to have on our industry. I truly believe that. So thanks for putting this together, and thanks for joining me today. I know you're busy, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you guys listening and watching as we've done this. And, of course, you can find out more information on it at InfoComm about participating in InfoComm, volunteering with InfoComm, teaching with InfoComm if you're a subject matter expert, not just at the show, but also year-round at InfoComm.org. And, of course, you can sign up for the show at InfoCommShow.org, and you should be following at InfoComm Show on Twitter. So thank you very much for watching.
Thank you, Gary.